right. If you are here, can you hear me? Oh, I guess so, because I can. Okay. Um, I wanted to hop on today. Um, I didn't get a chance to hop on the other day. It's just been a really weird week. Hi, Melissa. It's been a really weird week, and I don't know why I was so thrown off on Tuesday, but um, Todd got up late and ended up staying home, and it's like a party and a vacation when he's home. So I pretty much just cleared my schedule and we just hung out. But I wanted to hop on because I really missed being here. So, anyhow, today I am just going to work on creating an art journal for myself, and I'm going to use um, some of my mail, and it's not going to be the most beautiful art journal, but I want to use some of this stuff up, and I don't know. I'll probably make signatures today. And so I'm going to go ahead and start looking through some of this mail and see what I like. I don't really know what the size of this is going to be. I kind of want it to be bigger. And I really kind of think this would be a good size right here. This looks like about 6 by 6 or something similar to that. So maybe I'll use these. Oh, that's not one. Let's see if I have any more of those long ones. I thought I did, but maybe I don't. I think I could probably cut that one down. Yeah, I agree with you, Melissa. I think that one's too small. I have a problem with saving everything, and so, to get in here and do some stash busting it is feeling really freeing because I just I don't do this often enough. No. Sometimes I keep my my greeting cards that my friends and family send me, and I'll add them into my junk journal, which is fun. Or I'll make a little journal out of it. So I'm really not finding any more that are this size, I don't think. Maybe I can use something like that. And there's another of those. So setting this aside, I just want to see. Oh, I can actually use this one. Maybe. Oh, these are so weird. Oh my god. Okay, I'm definitely not using that part, but I certainly can use the rest of it. So yeah, I want to make myself an art journal. Today I have been reviewing people's for an event that that I'm working on coming up next quarter. I was looking at videos, watching them, and I am always so inspired by by people in this space because they just everybody like does kind of the same stuff, but the ideas, and the way they're translated, through someone else's eyes is so interesting to me. so I'm all inspired now, so I figured, let me hop on. I want to make myself an art journal and use some of the ideas. So all right, so let's see, are these roughly about the same? Sorta, yeah. So I think I can get rid of that one. Don't think this is, maybe this will. It's okay if it's a little bit different size. So I'll just make a few signatures. I know. I always see yours too, Melissa, and your stuff is so pretty. You know, and you make your stuff in ways that I wouldn't even probably think of, you know, and I just love that about the junk journal community. It's just it's just so fun and interesting. Oh, you're welcome. You deserve it. So are you working on anything in particular, Melissa, and anyone else that might be here? A lot has to do with where we started. Well, where did I start? I'm trying to think of that. And oh, look at how cool this is. This signature, and this signature are all exactly, oh cool, the ones off of the Junk Journal Bus website. Oh, I know where how cool. You know, I don't even send anybody to that site yet, and I'm so happy that you found it. I mean, not regularly anyway. I think this is a cool bit of color here. So I'm going to pull that out. Yeah, I'm hoping to do that monthly, like just have a, have a new set of prompts every month. And I really would like to maybe, you know, do some of them here on Twitch. And because I think that they're really cool and really fun, you know. They're mind stretchers, you know. And so this magazine, just so you know, this is from this is the Western States Carpenters Union, so that's why it looks like this. That's pretty neat. Not that I'd be able to use these pictures, I don't think, but I'm also going to, well, pretty soon, I mean, I'm kind of trying to get my get some habits down so that I can actually email people when something's happening or whatever, because, you know, I do a lot of stuff like this, and I'm really not good about communicating with people on my list and in my groups and stuff. And, you know, the reality of it is that I am, you know, I'm fairly sure I've got, I'd be diagnosed ADHD, because whenever things kind of go out. I don't know. I've always kind of described myself as an out of sight, out of mind person. So if I don't, see a person or a thing or whatever, like every day or something, I just forget that it even exists. It's just really strange how that is, but it is how it works, and it doesn't mean, yeah, I think I can probably do that. I actually do have some new posts, but yeah, I am working on getting some actual, oh cool, look at that, the sphere. My daughter lives just a little bit away from this. She could see the sphere from her window. Yeah, so I'm working on some, what is that? I'm working on something to help myself to figure out how to manage that better, so that I can, get in the habit of telling you guys things, because I'm just not that great about it. But anyway, what I was saying before is, what was I saying before? Treat yourself. I saved that because I like that a lot. I gotta say that to myself sometimes. These are cool. These are from a company called, yeah, me too. I like that also. I'm gonna use that. And I'm also gonna use this. I have a couple of these little boxes that came from a company called Sugarwish. Am I out of focus? Hold on. Okay, I think we're good. Probably gonna have to do it again though as soon as I move this box. Yeah, from this place called, or this company called Sugarwish. When I attend or be part of summits and things like that. Oh yes, I will tell you that. Thank you. I'm kind of meandering today. Not that I don't do that like every day, but anyway, so as a gift for participating in a summit, one of the ladies, thanks, one of the ladies sends, an invitation for us to pick from this Sugarwish company. And it could be like, this time it was coffees and teas. So that's what these boxes are, because I thought these were so cute, these cups. So I'll probably put something there, but I just think it's really cute. So I got today's inspiration from my friend Terese Bradley. I don't know if anybody follows her, but she's Terese Bradley Art on Instagram, and a lot of her stuff is centered around like being kind to yourself, loving yourself kind of stuff, through art. And when I first met her, that idea was kind of foreign to me. But the more I am in this space, and the more that I am getting to know, other junk journalers, and especially mixed media artists. Oh, look. Oops. I want this guy. Then, I am seeing the value of that, because I am sort of a, yeah, I know. Being kind to yourself is hard. Something that I have learned over the past couple of years, though, is that, oh, look, perfect size, is that if, when I am unkind to myself, you know, like mean words and things like that, I am unable to progress, you know, in a way that is, you know, that helps me grow, you know, because I'm too busy. My brain is too busy criticizing me, you know. And so when I'm not doing that, I am a lot more able to, I don't want to say it, I'm a lot more able to focus on other things, because if I'm not focused on me and, you know, how crappy I am or whatever, you know, then, you know, I can get on with life. So, I get the privilege of working with people who are working on improving their lives in various ways. And that's one thing that I am a pretty big stickler about, is that, you know, there's no, you know, self-criticism and things like that, because we all do things, you know, we all have reasons, excuse me, that we do things and have certain behaviors and things like that. So it's just not helpful to be rude to ourselves. So anyway, that's my little soapbox there about that. I like some of these. Oh, no problem. Do not worry. You don't have to be talking the whole time. It's totally fine, or typing the whole time. I probably won't be talking the whole time, but I'm here, and I am reading the comments, so yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot tied up in mental health, you know. You know, we don't put the two and two together. Oh man, I love burgers. Look at the whale burger. That's enormous. But anyways, yeah, most of us don't really know, you know, why we do the things that we do. Okay, so yeah, you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty big on mental health. You know, caring for your mental health. It's kind of a big deal to me. I never did before for myself, and now that I have, I know what can happen, you know, when a person, you know, focuses on their mental health. in a consistent way. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get, I don't really want to just find words right now. I want to actually find pages. And John Bon Jovi is not going on one of my pages. Nothing against him, but, you know. Anyways. All right, let's find some other things to put inside. I know I want to use some envelopes and maybe different colors. We'll use some of these return envelope things. I like these ones too that have like a little bit of, no, he's not. I like these ones that have like a little bit of texture and a little bit of you know, interesting color or pattern, I mean, is what I'm trying to say. So I think I'm gonna go through and just use a bunch of weird things, just because I don't want to sit here and be doing this the whole time. I suppose I could probably use more of these. I wasn't really ever a fan of John Bon Jovi, because when I was in school, you know, I was like more into like the punk scene and, you know, and like the, like not the pop, you know, rock and roll music. It was more like, you know, heavy metal and stuff like that. So I thought Bon Jovi was stupid. Not the person, just the band. I didn't like their music. But now I don't mind it so much, you know, and it's fine. And I feel like I like people from that era more, you know, than I did back then. So, you know. I was oh really? British punk kid. High five. I was more of a Dead Kennedys fan, you know. I mean, I liked British punk bands too, but Dead Kennedys was my jam. So, you know. I'm going to use a lot of these envelopes just to use them up and make like pockets and things, and then I'll just decorate them, I guess. Oh, okay. I actually still listen to Dead Kennedys sometimes. I do follow like some of the old bands that I liked. I guess it's just that thing where you know, whoever was, you know, whoever you listened to when you were young, you know, you always kind of stay with it, you know. So I'm like all about like Metallica and, you know, and Judas Priest and all that stuff. And, you know, I guess I've always kind of been a fan of more aggressive music, though I'm not really an aggressive person. But anyhow. Oh, what I was going to say is that I've been really appreciating, or I did whenever they were reporting on it a lot, how John Lydon was taking care of his wife, and I believe she had maybe Parkinson's or dementia or something like that. And I thought, when we were young, these people were people, we were like them too, where we would have never, wanted to care for another person in that way. So it really just touches my heart when I see stuff like that, because I just think like, man, we all get old and life happens to all of us. Oh, dementia. Okay. Yeah. And I just think that is so touching, that he is so loving and cares for her. I mean, I guess I don't really know that, except what the what I read or see on TV or something like that. But I mean, I've known people that have divorced their husbands because they had a brain injury or something, so it's like, to see that it's very, no, I would have never thought that, never. But yeah, we all grow up and we all become different people as we get older, and I just think that's precious, that and kind, So anyway. I think this is like kind of really cool how it folds out, and I might just take advantage of this thing and use that. But I think I'm going to cut it in half, maybe. I'm going to have a lot of pockets in here. Many, many. The cool thing about making an art journal out of these things is that I think that I'm probably not going to do anything like initially. It'll just look like, a bunch of envelopes and junk mail. But in the end, I think this one is open on both sides already. In the end, I'll be adding, junk journal elements to the, is this cut? To the pages, so it will cover, it'll cover most. Hello, Michelle. Did you get my note? Not that I want to let the cat out of the bag right here on Twitch, but I did send you a note earlier today. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. All right, I'll take a look. Oh, we were actually, it's not really either of our families, but we were just actually talking about how, like the bands we used to listen to when we were young, and like kind of like where these people are now, and how it's interesting to have followed their lives since I was, 16 or whatever. And we were talking about John Lydon and how he takes care of his wife that has dementia. And he was like, I don't know if you know who John Lydon was. Oh, right, exactly. Yeah, and you know what's really funny is that I watched some old videos recently of Sid Vicious, and when I was young, he looked like, not like an old man or anything, but he looked much older than me. And when I see pictures of him now, oh my gosh, he is so young. Such a little kid. Which, then, is really, makes it even more tragic. Yeah. John Lydon was the singer of Sex Pistols. An old, like, 70s British punk band that we used to listen to. Or I did. I don't know. I think Melissa probably did too. So, I know. Yeah, no kidding, right? I mean, I do have kids two of my kids are older than him when he died. And one of them is just turning 26 in about 4 days. So, quite close. But yeah, it's wild. Okay, so I'm going to make 3 signatures. That's cool. I remember like REO Speedwagon when I was in, they weren't my thing, but because my brother like raised me and influenced the kind of music. He didn't raise me completely, but he really influenced the kind of music that I listened to. And so I was raised on stuff like, I was raised on like Jimi Hendrix and Judas Priest and all these different bands, from that era. I need to find something. Oh, really? Was it a big band or just like a chill band, like a little band? Yeah, so that's kind of where I land, you know what I mean? And then when I got older, it was all about, Metallica and bands like, bands that I chose for myself. But I mean, like, by the time I was like, I'm thinking I was probably 12 years old, and probably earlier than that. He was influencing the music that I listened to. He moved on to like death metal or something weird like that, but I don't really know anything about that, so I guess I shouldn't say it's weird. But so what I'm making is I'm making an art journal for myself, and I just wanted to make it out of the trash that I was collecting. So I am putting score lines in here, and I'm putting some of them in the center and some of them off center, because I'm avoiding the windows, because I might use them or I might not. But I want to have an art journal for myself to, just to journal like my own feelings. I mean, I do a lot of writing already, Oops, I don't think I want that there. I do writing and stuff, but I don't really use my I don't really use my art skills or whatever, you know, to journal. So that is what I'm doing right now. Oh, I guess I cut the top off and the sides. Okay. So when I make this and when I use it, you know, it'll probably be like a mixed media journal. So oh, yep. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can use those for your you know how Monique teaches about the stacks? What did she call them? Cover stacks. And you can use them like in that. You can also use them. Have you ever watched any of Treasure Book's videos? What's her name? Natasha? I guess I'm just going to have to cut right through this, or score right through this one. Oh well, it'll be fine. So, okay, you want to go and watch some of her stuff. I don't really watch her that much anymore because I'm kind of afraid that I'm going to like inadvertently copy something of hers. I know, she's like the OG. Actually, I do kind of do some stuff of hers, but she's at Treasure Books on YouTube. You'll love her. She has so many great ideas. Oh, you know what, Melissa? Circling back to how I got into this, it was because I watched Natasha's videos, and I was like, man, that looks so fun. So anyway, so I'm going to just start filling this up with all kinds of different envelopes. Some of these can be pockets or just thick. Oh, yeah, I had that fear too, Michelle. When I started, I actually asked Monique if she minded, because I was in like handmade gifts before, you know, and I did like occasionally junk journals as gifts and stuff. And after we did that summit, I mean the first retreat, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to change what I'm doing, because it was so much more, I don't know, it was profitable, you know, it was big. It just seemed like that was the way to go, you know. And so I did ask her, you know, hey, do you mind? And she's like, no. And that's kind of why, you know, when you say stuff like that, I'm like, I get it, but no. Because Melissa and I were just talking about this too, that when like that 5 different people could take one idea, you know, and it could come out different every time. So I think that it's so nice of you to be like to be careful, you know, about that. But just know that, you know, you do have your own way of doing things and looking at things, and you know, your work is not going to be exactly like mine or Monique's. Mine is definitely not like Monique's, and I am like in awe of her stuff, you know. I love her stuff, you know. Whenever she says that she likes mine, I'm like, oh my gosh, really? You know, it's funny, but you know. Yeah, totally. So, I mean, your creativity is very similar to ours. So, you know, why shouldn't you get, you know, involved if that's what you want to do? Exactly, Melissa. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to really, really, try hard to copy something of somebody else's, especially if you're doing like, I don't know if you are, Michelle, but I think you are doing some AI stuff. That's, yeah. Um, it's hard to duplicate what somebody else does because the prompts, the wording is different. The detail is different. I was talking with Monique yesterday, and she was showing me something she was doing, and I took that exact same prompt, right, and plugged it into the exact same AI generator and did not get the same thing. So here's the thing is that you're gonna plug in prompts even if they're exactly the same as one of ours. You're not going to be able to get the same exact thing. Plus, when you get your if you're using Canva, when Canva spits out the 4 pictures, that it does, and offers those to you, you're probably going to choose a different one than one of us might have. Does that make sense? Because, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it is. I think it's important to be kind, and not be crappy about taking other people's work. But in the end, there's not a whole lot new under the sun. We can put our own spin on it, and then, so. All that to say, don't worry. It'll be fine. I think I might use that as a tuck. That's so cute. Oh, okay, cool. I use Canva and Midjourney right now. And so, but Midjourney, a lot of the stuff, with Midjourney is so pretty, but it's very similar. I can tell when people have created their artwork in Midjourney, and so that is kind of starting to inform what I may or may not decide to do in the future. Canva has a lot of different options as far as what styles and stuff. So I don't really have to remember. I can just click a style that I'm interested in. But yeah. Midjourney is a little different than that. I've never tried Microsoft Copilot. Is that a pay option? Because I do have Microsoft Office. Your papers were really pretty too in that video. Really. And that's all I want to say about that. But because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag and tell the secrets. right, I think this is probably, oh, maybe too big. Look at that. No, 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 that's okay. That's okay, Melissa. It's just we're planning something coming up soon, and yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I think I took a little bit out of that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set this aside for a bit. And maybe let's see. Where's the other covers? Did I put the other covers inside of the other one? Oh no, I did not. Okay, here we are. You're welcome. Credit where credit's due. Well, I'm going to run out of stuff for the last one if I don't quit. Let me add some other pages inside of here. And this seems thick enough. Maybe a little too thick. Okay, last one. I think I'm just going to cut this in half. Oh, I forgot to put my... Oh, this is so cool. Okay. I kind of want to put that in there, but maybe in the center. Hey, how much does Copilot cost? Is it something that you can add on with Microsoft Office? I mean, I think it is, but if you don't mind my asking. Forgetting to put pages in. Does anybody else get brain dead at this time? I think this is usually the time that I end. But yeah, it's kind of my brain dead time. But it's Friday, and I spent a lot of time playing video games this morning already, so. Oh, you're hitting your peak. What time do you get up, Melissa? Because I'm fairly sure that is what has to do with with this problem of mine. My day often starts. Oh, you're a night owl. Okay. My day often starts at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I am absolutely a morning person. And the reason why that is, I mean, I probably wouldn't get up that early if Todd didn't. But he has a long commute every day. So I sort of just have gotten on his schedule, just by, like as a habit. He doesn't care if I am, but it's just kind of, I fell into it, I know. Sometimes like my friends will text me, and then I'll text them back at like 2 in the morning, and they're like, "What are you doing up?" "Oh, I just woke up." "What are you doing up?" "Oh, I haven't gone to sleep yet." These are so thick. Goodness. I'll take a couple of things out of there. So, I think I'm probably going to have to, I'm going to have to sew these, but I have to think about what kind of cover I want. And I could probably make a cover. Oh, I guess, these are kind of cool because they sort of are, staggered. Yeah, my dog, if I even like move my legs or anything, my dog is like, "All right, it's time to get up now." And I cannot go back to sleep until I do whatever she wants me to do, which usually has to do with food. But occasionally it has to do with going to the bathroom. So, actually, I should just sew my signatures. I think I'm just going to sew one signature and then maybe play around with my journal. Oh, that's cute. Yep. That's how it is. The animals. How many dogs do you have and what kind? Let's see. We only have one dog, and it's Bella. And she's very vocal, so it's not unusual to get yelled at even when I'm feeding her. She just gets so excited about food. a Chihuahua Whippet mix. Okay, I am like, that oh, how did that happen? I am so confused. I'm thinking like, I love Whippets. I really want one, but they would probably, you know, I don't think they're nice with like farm animals, and at the time we had chickens. So I would love to have one though. Oh, yeah. Whippets are so, so cute. I saw, we used to see this lady at a Starbucks that we used to stop at, and she had two Whippets, and they both wore like rhinestone collars. They were all like high society looking. They were so cute, and they just looked like they were afraid of the world. I don't know if that's their regular disposition, but they were just really cute. But they were big. That's why I'm so confused about that. That's great that he doesn't have the barkiness, because man, we had two Chihuahua mixes for quite a long time, and yeah, they could be really, really, really barky. Actually, I think what I want to do is something different. Maybe a big awl. And oh, yes. Because they're so like lanky, right? And Chihuahuas are, I don't know. I don't know if they have a, if they're cold all the time, but it would make sense if they were, because they're so little and lots of times their hair is short. I don't know. Uh-oh, what did I just do? Ooh. All right, so making these holes really big because it looks like I'm off center also. Oh well, such is life, I guess. We'll fix it. All right, so now I think that I would actually like to, instead of using string or whatever, I think I'm gonna use ribbon to bind this. If I can get these holes big enough. Remember this. This came from Desiree. Hi, Michelle. Oh, really? Yeah. I used to have a lot of trouble sleeping. Not so much anymore, but I totally get that. It's miserable, you know, to not be able to sleep. I usually go to sleep by about 8, and then I'm up by about, I don't know, anywhere between 1 and 3. It's like, woohoo, I slept in if I wake up at like 4. So, anyway, that's kind of why I am always like tapped out right around this time. But I really wanted to do this, so. And I missed getting on here on Tuesday. And it was just as well anyway, because I needed to make the holes in that leather for the spine on Ezra's junk journal. So I did that, got that done, and so now I'm ready to move forward with that. Now I'm just thinking about how I can affix the leather to the journal. And I'm thinking leather glue, because leather glue is really strong, but I wonder if there is something better, that would be more effective in holding that thick leather on the spine of the journal. So I guess all I can do is just try, Oh, yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's rough. It's not TMI. We're just talking. It's fine. I mean, listen, I always just talk about my stuff, so I don't know. I mean, if yours is TMI, then mine is like super TMI. So, anyway. This is going to look cuter on the inside than it will on the outside. That's kind of how this is. Yeah, totally. I think that Twitch is pretty, it's pretty low key, It's not real formal. And so, all right, so that's cute. I don't know how I'm gonna like it, but all good. It's fine. And now that I have it, I'm gonna have to help it fold a little better, or maybe not, because it actually does have a spine. That's a cool spine too, I think I'll leave it and then maybe just cover, and decorate it, I guess. Oh, double knot it, yeah. I think I just only did one knot, you're right. I think it is too. I think it's pretty cool also. Yeah, and with these pages as they are, they're so thick and bulky, I'll show you guys how far I got with the spine for Ezra's. So you guys saw that I'm here with Ezra's, and I kind of got it to be flat. But this is going to be the spine. Oops. So I think I have to trim this side off a little bit, but I'm going to wait. So it'll look like this. think this might be about right. Might be okay. So, yeah. But I just have to figure out how to... I know I'm going to have to glue this toward the end of next week, of next stream, because then I need to let it dry. So I guess what I'm going to need to do is, I sewed this one in upside down. I can tell because see how there's a gap there and then there's a gap here. So I'm going to have to undo it and then re-sew it in, but that's okay because I haven't yet done anything with the spine. And once the spine is on, you know, there's just, I don't know what. I mean, I guess it's just giving it to Ezra for all of the, you know, record keeping kind of stuff. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do beads and things like that too. I want to do something like that. So let me put this away real quick. So this is going to be different from a junk journal where, oh, just whenever, Melissa. Probably he could use it now, but it's still at the very beginning of the journey, you know? And so there are a few pictures and things that he has. So I'll probably end up mailing it to him because I don't see him very often. They live up in like Joshua Tree area, which is in the high desert. We're sort of like in a low desert. So it's kind of a long drive and all that. Of course, I would 100% welcome seeing him, but, you know. I do get to see him, though, every couple weeks because he works for me. He's the one that edits my video and is starting to like do a lot of stuff in my Etsy shop and things like that. So yeah. So here it is. Here's one of them. And I think I'm just going to work in this one first. I like it. It's, you know, pretty much what I was... No, actually, you know, Ezra has always been my little partner, you know, since birth. You know, we've been pretty inseparable. The only reason we're not together all the time now is because, you know, they live in a different place, or he lives in a different place. And so, you know, but yeah, thankfully I don't have to force my kids to see me. I am so grateful for that. I mean, it could have definitely gone that way. You know, I wasn't always a kind parent. I always wanted to be, but I just wasn't always. You know, I had some mental health issues that were untreated and things like that. And so, you know, it was impossible for me to be any better than I was. I know, Michelle. I understand, and I feel the same exact way. But also, you know, aren't you glad that um, that your um, that your son is, you know, doing what he wants to do? You know what I mean? He's getting his education and all that good stuff, you know. So, you know, that's the goal, right? We want to raise our kids to be, you know, to be independent thinkers, to, you know, do the things that they like to do or they want to do with their lives. I really like this. And so, yeah, it's something to be happy about for sure. Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree. Oh, okay. That's what's happening here. Definitely putting something over this here, but what, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna leave this like this because I sort of like that swirly thing and I don't want to put this cool paper on the back, so I'm gonna set that aside for a minute. So let me think of what I saw today that I wanted to do. Let me look in here. I think I'm gonna start with a stack. Of some sort. I'm gonna take a pause just for a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And now I'm just going to look through my box and find papers that I can use to cover up some of the stuff in there. I'm not going to cover everything because, you know, some of it I think it'll be okay. But most of it I think will probably need to be covered. So I'm just going to pull out a bunch of stuff. And things I like. Actually, I like everything in here. So I think I just have to actually think of, let's see. I think I'm just going to work. Maybe I'll just work right here in the middle. Thank you, Melissa. So I was watching. I think first what I'm going to do is create a stack of something. And these things were sort of speaking to me earlier, so I think I really like this. I'm gonna make this a little closer. Okay. So this is like paper bag paper. No, not paper bag, but you know what comes inside of the Amazon boxes? That thinner craft paper? That's what this is. Thing out. I really like the way I have all this stuff stored, but my problem is that it's over there. And remember, like I said before, you know, if I don't see it, it does not exist. So I need to find something interesting here. Maybe some of this, one of these newspaper thingies. The Daily Curse. That's funny. Right on the top there. The Daily Curse. These are all like anatomy. They're not like speaking to me, but I do want to use. I know, Melissa, same. That's the reason why I put them in here, because the art avalanches are like, they're overwhelming, you know? So, to keep myself from being overwhelmed, I do this and then I forget what I have, you know? So, I think what I probably need to do is pull out a few things that I want to use probably in the next, I don't know, for my project, and then maybe just put it all in there, you know? Or what I might need to use, what I might want to use for the whole. Yeah, they're going to be like, where's Melissa? I'll take a couple of those out. Maybe do a few of these that I may want to use. Where's those hands? Oh, look at this eyeball. Yep. Because it was in the last place that you looked, right? Okay, I think I want these. I think that's probably good enough for now. Oh, okay. My rubber band just broke. Okay. I'm not going to worry about it. You're flesh and blood, man. I'd have done the same thing, Melissa. Very same thing. I don't think there are any. Oh, here. Is this roses? No. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay. I know, I'm like well, in the past, I've been kind of a shopping freak, you know? And I haven't been as interested lately. I think it's probably because being in junk journaling means that I can use the junk, right? So I kind of feel like I have everything that I need. But, you know. Kind of like that one. At Joann's. What brand did you get? Because some of the brands are really annoying to me, you know, because they're they have a white core, if you know what I mean by that. So when you cut it, you can see the white in the middle. So I'm looking for brands that don't do that, but I was getting Colorbach for a while, which, you know, is just from like Walmart or whatever. That was before I knew anything about it. Oh, how cute. Oh my gosh, so cute. And then, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Remember? Brain dead. I think I'm going to be here for another like 30 minutes or something. can tell I'm going downhill fast here. Park Lane and DCWV. I'll have to take a look because yeah, I'm always looking for oh, not right now. I'm gonna play around a little bit and do a page or do a stack, and then I'm gonna go for sure. Because you guys don't really want me talking to you when I'm brain dead. But you guys are always so kind and gracious. Magnets. What in the world does that say? Spooktacular. That's funny. I think I'm just going to work on this one right now. Oh, good. I'm so glad. See, this is what I mean about the white core. So I'm always looking for paper that does not have that white in the middle. I mean, it's easy enough to manage, but, you know, I mean, I was just watching in your video how you were talking about how to rip it, you know, and so I'm just going to do it like that. Do we have a lot in common? Are you introverted, Michelle? Because I am. It doesn't mean that I'm shy. I'm not shy at all. Yeah, I'm definitely not shy. I know how to talk to people and all that good stuff. It doesn't energize me to talk, you know, which is weird because I do this all the time, you know, and I do like doing it, but I think what it is that it energizes me to a certain degree, and then after that, you know, I'll crash sooner than other people might, you know. I believe that Monique is really, really she's introverted, but she's not so I don't know, she's different than me. Yeah, quiet. That makes sense. She might get energized by talking to people. I'm not real sure. But I guess maybe if I didn't get up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I might probably, you know, be less brain dead. Oh, you know, you got this. You 100% got this. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. It's super helpful when people, you know, are encouraging and all that. I think not, Melissa. I don't really do a lot of, you know, regular chattering. I mean, I do with my husband if we're playing video games. Excuse me. If we're playing video games, you know, I'm I'm chatting with him and stuff, you know. I'm definitely a morning person, and I do probably do better if I'm chatting in the morning. But, you know, I'm not brain dead in the morning, let me just say that. And let's see, what else have we got here? I got this really cool, tan velvet ribbon, and I love, love, love it. Oh, wow. Melissa, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I understand. When I was younger and my kids were all home, I had to, you know, I guess steal time at night, you know, to do stuff. And it's just what it is when you have kids or people at home to take care of, you know, or whatever. So I think this is probably enough stuff. Yeah, my husband and I are both pretty quiet, so it's not weird for us to like be sitting next to each other and not say anything to each other for a couple of hours. And it's not, you know, we're not freaked out by that. It's just the way it is for us. But Todd's mom, if I go and meet her for lunch or something, she can talk, man. And I let her, you know. Because by the time I go see her, it's like 11 or 12, and I'm getting to brain dead time. Nobody's on my schedule. That's fine though. It's all good. All right, let me just glue some stuff down a little bit. I want to finish something today. So Michelle, here's your assignment. Find Natasha at Treasure Books and watch some of her stuff and see what you think, because she's like got the best ideas ever, you know. Really, really great ideas, like totally like out of the box ideas that are really unique and interesting. I actually have her book. I don't use it very much. I kind of wish it had more pictures in it, but yeah, I have it. Yeah, YouTube. I wish that she had more pictures. I guess she has them in the middle of the book. And yeah, so but I have a hard time with just reading. I kind of have to see. also. But yeah, I did buy it definitely because I wanted to make sure to support her, because I learned so much from her. She's just really creative. I think I'm going to put this in here. The Daily Curse. It's definitely time for a few hours of Fortnite, you guys. I don't know about this. Yeah, how about right there? Yeah, Melissa, we absolutely do. So my Alex, my daughter, my oldest, she lives in Vegas, like I was saying before, and my grandson. So sometimes we'll hop on with them. My son lives about 20-30 minutes away from me, and so we hop on once a week, and then he comes over and hangs out, and we play then too on Saturdays and watch TV and stuff. But yeah, lately we've been all like my husband will be on the PlayStation, and I'll be on my computer. And then one of the kids or both of the kids will be at their house doing their thing or whatever, and we'll all just play squads. So it's really fun. We have a lot of fun. Does your family play, Melissa? Yeah. Yeah, I'm really grateful for it because, there was a time when I wasn't sure my kids were going to want to come home and be with us, So, and hang out with us and stuff, and we're so grateful that they do. Those little boogers are special. Yeah, I know. And that's kind of the thing, is that my video game habit kind of gets in the way of this, of doing this stuff, because I really like doing this stuff. It's just I have a video game habit also. So, but also I used to do a lot of workshops, like, every week I would have a workshop prepared, and I did a lot of things, like, so I guess I don't know. I'm a little bit less formal about things now, about what I do. All right, so I know I'm going to want to use these some more in my book, but here's my first entry. It's probably called Treasure Books. I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, treasure bookmaking. She does such pretty work. Yep, I agree with you, Melissa. 100%. I feel like it's so important to do, I guess, coming out of like those eras where, you know, you better do exactly what, you know, someone told you to do or whatever, you know. Yeah. I'm super into like autonomy. I know. She does have some videos showing some of that stuff. I'm sure she's much neater about it than I am. Okay. I'm going to make my first entry into this book. So when I was watching someone else do this, what they did was they just left, you know, they might have like painted here. Hold on, let me zoom in. All right. So they might have painted here or, you know, wrote on it or something. You know, used like some cool pens. Oh, there's my bamboo one. All right, so I have this. I don't know if it's good still, but I don't know. I don't know anybody who doesn't have art avalanches. I just think that those people are weird. I think I want to glue this on actually. I think that'll be fine. One thing I really super enjoy is Zentangle. It's super I don't know. I want to say therapeutic, and that's not really the right word. It's not cathartic. It's relaxing, I guess, would be the word. See if I can find the words. need to have something covering that. I don't know. I am like it's not sitting well for me. Okay. There are some people that can make, ooh, look at that, that can make things look really, really cool. And then there's, then there's me. This kind of stuff is not really, I'm not super artistic, but I do like, doing this stuff. Well, thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. I love our little community. It's so kind. This is kind of looking matchy-matchy. Bye, Melissa. You have a good weekend too. Make lots of stuff. I'm going to be heading off in about 5 minutes. Also, just want to maybe throw this on here somewhere. Okay, I think this is about all I'm gonna do today after I put these little words on here. Because then I'm gonna think about, what do I love? Yes. So remember, Michelle, when I did the, hold on one sec. So you remember this journal, right? So this is one, thank you. This is one that I took a class actually with Vintage Paper Company, and they do really amazing junk journals. So when I did the video, I didn't I didn't copy their instructions or anything. I just interpreted it, you know what I mean? And then wrote them out the way I did it, you know, and stuff. And then just, you know, kind of did it my own way. But yes, somebody did say, you know, like, well, this looks just like a project that I, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It totally is. And I said it in my video too, you know, that this is not my idea. This is an idea that I got from so-and-so. And so if you know, like this idea, you should go check them out, you know? And I try to be really open with that kind of thing, you know what I mean? With giving people shout outs and stuff like that, you know? Because, you know, we're a community, we're all trying to do, you know, we're all trying to, you know, make a living, or, you know, make some money off what we're doing and everything. And I guess I just don't really believe in, you know, in creating a feeling of competition. And the reason for that is because in my life, one of my character defects is, you know, is that sort of thing. And so, it's so much more worth it not to be that way. And I know because I've been both ways. So, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to be. You know, I think that as women, especially, you know, we need to be here for each other, you know. And I really believe that, you know, it's important. So anyways, I guess that's all I got. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be here on Tuesday. I don't want to miss again. And I do have to find a way to, you know, because the emails go out and all of the stuff that's scheduled to go out. If I have to change last minute, I'll try to figure out a better way of communicating that. All right, Michelle, I will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.